Bitcoin is at a major point in the market. We have seen bear markets getting ended against this trend line. This is not a small confluence for Bitcoin for the next major rally towards the upside. This is an igniting point for massive price targets for Bitcoin. We are still seeing, in combination with that trend line, a really good support from of the 100 SMA line, which is a really important line. But what am I doing next in the market here? Markets are pretty slow. Volatility just hit new lows, and this is the next setup I'm trading over on Bitcoin. We will dive into that and way more in today's video, but first of all, I would really appreciate you guys to follow me over on X and subscribe over on my YouTube channel, and also like this daily update video. And let's dive right away into the content now, because this trend line is a 12-year-old support for Bitcoin, and this is not a small trend line, not important trend line, because what we have been seeing in the past, that bear market has been ending against this trend line, that the next major move towards the upside happened after a touch of this line. We have seen it in 2013 when Bitcoin tapped this line. Bitcoin pumped from $70 towards $1,200. Then Bitcoin came in a really big bear market. That bear market was getting stopped by this trend line, and from that moment Bitcoin exploded towards the upside. We pumped from $250 back to $12,000, which is massive. Then we saw a major move towards the downside once again, and that was the exact moment the Bitcoin bottomed exactly out against this trend line, and after that the next bull run started. Right over here, what we have seen in 2021, Bitcoin set a top, dropped back towards the downside, but look at this, the bottom has been perfectly formed around this 12-year-old support. So right over here we stopped the bear market, right over here we stopped the bear market, and right over here this trend line was strong enough to stop the bear market and start momentum towards the upside. Right here we saw a major move towards the upside, and right now we are literally at the same trend line once again. And please keep this in mind. Every single time we touched this trend line, we stopped a bear market, and not a small move towards the upside started. We exploded towards the upside, and right now we are at that exact point in the market once again. And the question now is, are you fading this signal? Are you selling your Bitcoin against this massive signal? If you sell your Bitcoin and crypto at this point, you're betting against a 12-year-old support that never has been broken on Bitcoin. This is a major confluence in the market, and the moves we have been seeing started from off a bounce of this level are just massive. We don't talk about targets around the $120,000 if we get supported right over here. We talk about targets above the $200,000, and believe it or not, but one thing I can say, if you sell your Bitcoin at this trend line, you're betting against a 12-year-old support, and that is never a good reason to sell your Bitcoin. Then if we look at a really important indicator in the market, is the 100 SMA line. Why is it so important? It indicates the trend for Bitcoin. We have seen it in the past. We have seen it in 2018. We broke it towards the downside, the bear market started. We broke it towards the upside in 2020, and the bull market started towards the upside. We have seen it again right over here in 2022. We broke towards the downside, and the bear market started, and right here in 2023 we broke it towards the upside, and the next major bull run started towards the upside. Then if we look at the moment right now, this is a massive signal. We are getting supported by it right now. Two scenarios here. To be really honest, if we break it towards the downside, a bear market is tend to happen here. Of course, we need to see a real break towards the downside, so not only a grab, because everyone is looking at this line, everyone is looking at this trend, so we could see a fake out and then a further move towards the downside. But if we really break down with much volume, that is maybe not a good signal for Bitcoin. But if we get supported right over here, the next targets are massive for Bitcoin. So I'm keeping my eyes on this chart as well, because this could be massive. And if you look at the history of Bitcoin, when we broke the bull market towards the upside, we have never been supported by that line again, and that is really, really tricky. True, but this could be a start of a next major cycle on Bitcoin, and a further move towards the upside is tend to happen if we get supported right over here and over on this 12-year-old support. Then, if you look at the Bitcoin volatility index, we can see that we drop towards new lows again. That means that it is really tricky to trade. Volume is pretty low, but tomorrow the volume and the volatility will kick in back in the market, and these are the opportunities I'm looking for Bitcoin. Still the same as yesterday, if we break this red line towards the upside, we can retest it and start the next move towards the upside for Bitcoin. That is the exact trade I am taking here if we see those confluences, and the exact target of that trade would be around $95,000. Then if we break this low towards the downside, we could short it back towards the $87,000. So for now, two lines which are pretty important. A break above this red line on the top side is a long, and if we break it towards the downside and retest it, that is a short scenario for Bitcoin. Of course, I hope that the volatility will kick back in, but I'm keeping my eyes on this chart as well, because the volatility is still very, very low, and I really want to see volume and volatility getting kicked in the market. And if a trade and setup unfolds in the market, I will keep you posted over on my X page, and of course here in the daily update videos. But I also have a free trading community you can join with the first link in the description, and you will get updated about every single trade we are taking, and we are literally making bank. The only thing you need to do is sign up on Weex, the best exchange out there, to have the best setups on the best exchange, and that is a massive collaboration to make a lot of money. Then if you look at a on-chain chart, we can see that the supply is draining, and that is exactly what we want to see for a next move for Bitcoin. Over 25,000 Bitcoins were removed from exchanges in the last 7 days, and this is really important. Why? This could look very bearish, but this means that people are not willing to sell their Bitcoin, and that is exactly what they want. If they put their Bitcoin back in exchanges, they can trade with it, they can sell it, and that will cause for another dump in the market. But this signal tells us that people don't want to sell their Bitcoin. They sold it, send it back to cold storage again, and they don't want to touch their Bitcoin at such a low prices, which is pretty understandable. But it is really good to see that the sell pressure is removing for Bitcoin, and that will be a matter of time that the buy pressure is strong enough to push the price of Bitcoin towards new all-time highs. And ending with that, I'm gonna tell you, please make sure to follow me over on X to never miss a setup and a trade ever again in crypto. And of course, if you want to get updated every single day in the market, please make sure to subscribe over on my YouTube channel. I would really appreciate you, and I will see you tomorrow by a brand new Crypto Daily Update video.